Shemai everyone, how are you all? Well, for the first time in forever, I'm actually back with a card. And it seems like ages ago since I made a card, so I just hope I remember how to do it on screen. So this is the one I'm making. I'm using the Parisian Sweet Blossoms, and the papers are absolutely gorgeous. The colours are stunning in them. So I'm using Parisian Blossom Specialty Designer paper, and it's actually got like a champagne goldy silver sort of foiling through it. And the colours are Cherry Cobbler, Petal Pink and Pool Party. And I'm going to be using the Forever Blossoms bundle as well. So, as I say, the papers are gorgeous. If you haven't seen them yet, when I first saw it, I thought, why do I want a picture of the Eiffel Tower? And then they're just so pretty. I think that's the way to describe them. They're just really pretty. The foiling really adds to the design. Oh, look at this. This has got to be my favourite piece of all. This one here with the big cherry blossoms on. So, as I say, this is the card I'm going to make. And I'm using the Petal Pink paper there, which has got the foiling with some lovely French words across. And I've done a little bit of preparation work here, because seeing as I haven't done it for such a long time, I thought I might need all the help I can get. So my card measures 5 by 7, and as you can see, I have matted the designer paper onto a piece of Petal Pink cardstock. Just going to line it up here. There we go. And then I've got a smaller section here, which is, let's see, about 3.5 inches. That's just going across the middle there. And I'm actually putting the tape towards the middle of the cardstock because I wanted to tuck some little blossoms underneath. There we go. Just under there. And for a change, I'm stamping in early espresso, but I've heat embossed them with some clear embossing powder just to give it a little bit of a shine. I didn't want the harshness of black, and I wanted it to stand out more than it would on Pool Party. So the other new product I'm using is the Stitch So Sweetly dies. This actually goes with a stamp set, but I didn't buy the stamp set because it wasn't one I would use. But I love these stitched scalloped rectangles, so that's what I'm using. And the sentiment comes from the Peaceful Moment stamp set. There we go. So I've layered up the 2 biggest scalloped rectangles, and I'm sticking those down flat like that, just in the center. And then I've added some foam pads to the sentiment, and I'm going to stick that on then. And what I've done, I've left space in the center here because that's where I'm going to be tucking some of my cherry blossoms. There we are. Now I've cut the one. I'll start again. I've stamped, coloured and cut the one in preparation, but I'll do the other one then on screen. It's a really easy one to line up as well with the die, which is nice. But the heat embossing then just gives you some lines to work towards. As I said before, I'm not any kind of talent when it comes to colouring. I tend to colour like a child would in school. So it just helps you keep in the lines. There we go. The colours, as I say, in this suite are absolutely gorgeous. So what I've tried to do, if you can see there, is I'm just sort of positioning it around the wording, as if it's framing the sentiment. And I've just put sticky pads on the pieces of the die cut that are not touching the sentiment, if that makes sense. So I'm going to stick these 2 little ones down ready before I stamp the next big cherry blossom one. For some reason my Tombo's gone really, really runny. Seems to be a bit of red stuck to that. There we go. There's one. The other one then is going down the bottom. So I hope you're all well. As I say, I haven't made videos for a couple of weeks either because my mum has had her long-awaited hip operation. So but the first week when she was in, I was dog sitting, dog walking and hospital visiting. And now, since she's been out, I've had my nurse's uniform on and I've been staying up with her looking after her. So she comes first. So there we are. I'm just inking up the stamp. And I think my early espresso might be drying out slightly, so that's why I'm being quite heavy-handed with it. Now, it doesn't stay as wet for long as Versamark does, so you need to move quite quickly with it. And I've just got very old clear embossing one, actually. I think this is one of the first ones I bought. I'm sure I had a Stampin' Up one somewhere, but I think it's lost. As you can see, if you can hear me above it, it doesn't take long to change. There we go. So I just finished off the heat embossing without videoing it because I didn't want to deafen you. So now I'm just using 3 colours of Stampin' Blends. This one is dark mint macaron, then this one is ivory, and this one is actually light pumpkin pie. I'm sure I had a pinky one, but I don't think I put the lid on properly because it dried up. And sadly, they were, I think they were sort of a special one, so they didn't then have them in the catalogue when I went back to order a new one. So I'm just colouring in with the mint macaron. And what I'm going to do then with the ivory is just colour the centre of the flowers. And I've taken the inspiration for colouring it from the designer series paper pack. There we go. So I'm just sort of doing around the centres really, and around the edge of the flower there, and there's like a little fold there on that petal, so I'll just colour that one in. And then using the pumpkin pie, I'm just going to add a little bit of a darker centre. As I say, I don't do anything special when I colour. I see all these incredible artists with their shading, and that's not me. So I'm just bringing in the die cut now, like this, and I tend to use a little bit of washi tape to adhere it down. This mainly because I'm a little bit lazy to get my magnetic plate out, but sometimes even on that it'll jump around slightly. I'm just gonna, I think I'll add a little bit more. Oh, there it is. There we go. So what is your favourite item out of the new catalogue? There are some lovely ones in there. When I first saw, as I say, when I first saw the Parisian one, I thought, oh, well, that's really pretty, but I can't see how I'll use it. But then I saw such stunning cards with it that I was tempted. And I must be honest, the papers are divine, but also the stamp sets are lovely to use. There we go, just put that to one side for now. Drop the paper down there. So I'm just going to bring in the other one to show you what I've done. I actually cut this flower off like this, close to the other one. And then this one, I'm going to stick on with foam pads towards the top. Just shut my ink, because otherwise I will just put a finished card on it or something, because I can't begin to tell you how many times I've done that. There we go, just take those off. And I'm just tucking it slightly under the sentiment, like that. And as you can see, there's that other little one peeking out. This one then I'm going to use as a single flower at the bottom of the card. And then I'm just going to tuck the other little cherry blossom one just behind the sentiment as well. The nice thing is about this card is all drawing the attention to the sentiment. And once again, I'm sort of sticking it down so it's framing the sentiment there. Bit of glue on this. I'm then going to tuck behind. It's so nice to use these lovely spring colours. Even though the weather isn't very spring-like outside, it must be coming closer to us having a bit of sunshine. And then I have no idea where I had these from. I think I must have had them in a scrapbooking kit of some variety. But I'm on a mission, try to use things up. I'm just going to stick that one on there. And there we go, that's done. And as you can see, I don't know whether the camera will pick this up. You can see there's a little bit of a sheen to the flowers where they've been heat embossed with clear embossing powder. It just adds a little bit of extra something. And then with the foiling in the paper, as I say, when the light catches it, it really does shine. So there we go. So thank you so much for joining me. As I say, apologies for not being very regular with my YouTube videos at the moment. It's hard work trying to fit everything in at the moment. So just a reminder of what I've used. I've used the papers from the Parisian Blossom Suite. I've used the Forever Blossoms stamp set and the die cuts. And I've used the sentiment from Peaceful Moments and the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And there we go. Thank you so much for joining me. And I shall hopefully, fingers crossed, see you again very soon. Thank you. Take care. Hwyl fawr. Bye.